you don't reach deep down inside your fucking soul, you ain't gonna have legs.
Yeah.
God, I love this movie.
It was very good.
Oh, man, I love this movie.
It was very, very good. The funniest thing that I didn't even realize, and I'm assuming he's going to make an appearance at some point, was I was shocked when Andrew Dice Clay was in this movie.
I was going to save it for a little bit, but yeah. And once again, proving he's actually a pretty good actor.
He is actually a pretty good actor.
In like subtle roles. Like he did it in Blue Jasmine years ago with Woody Allen.
Right.
And we could go down Dice's credits. But
yeah, well, the other thing, too, is like Andrew Dice Clay is a character.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's been acting since his entire career.
Right. So, but we're not doing Ford Fairlane.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No. We'll get to him, though. We'll get there because he shows up. It's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
But we are doing A Star Is Born.
A Star Is Born, and not the original. Yeah, not the original, not the remake, but the remake's remake.
No. A Star Is Born, not the 1937 film.
Yep.
Not the 1954 film.
Yep.
Not the 1976 film. We are doing the 2018
Yes.
A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
It was released, let's see, October 5th, 2018. It had a budget of $36 to $40 million, brought back $425.3 million at the box office. It, of course, was written by Eric Roth, Bradley Cooper, Will Fetters. It was produced by Bradley Cooper, Todd Phillips, Bill Gerber, Jon Peters, directed by Bradley Cooper, and starring Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga, Dave Chappelle, Sam Elliott, and yes, Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, I know.
Shocking. Yeah, and I'm gonna just set the tone for where my head's gonna be at this for the next hour. This is my favorite movie of the last 5 years.
Oh wow!
Yes,
that good, huh?
I have. I watched it 2 or 3 times in the theater, and
yeah, I remember you seen it a couple times.
Since I bought it day one Blu-ray, which was last Tuesday, I've seen it maybe 5 times since.
Yeah,
including last night, right before the Oscars.
Of course,
right up to the Oscars. I'm like, you know what? I could go watch the rest of Roma, or read the rest of Roma. Or I could watch this, which I know I'm going to enjoy, despite the fact that literally every fucking time I watch it, I cry.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's just amazing.
This movie... So, I held off on A Star Is Born. Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly because I had seen the 1937 version as well as the Streisand version, which was 76. Right? I saw both of those versions. And I felt like, 2 remakes is enough. This is probably going to be good. It was good the first 2 times.
You mean the 54? You watched the Judy Garland one,
Sorry,
right?
the Judy Garland one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the one you didn't see was 37.
37,
yeah.
right.
With Janet Gaynor.
Yes. And so I have that pulled up because I just wanted to kind of reference how different they were. But, yeah, the Garland one... it follows the same story beats, and this movie ultimately does follow the same story beats, but it shows you just how good Bradley Cooper was and how much of a sin it was that he wasn't nominated for Best Director.
Crime.
Right? Because...
Not even nominated.
Because, and I was about to say this off air, but
Adam McKay got nominated for that mess called Vice.
Yeah, right, which is inexcusable. But... You look at this movie, and what worked against Bradley Cooper is you heard A Star Is Born. You've seen it 3 to 4 times at this point.
Yep.
So you know what the beats are. So how good can your directing be when all you have to do is follow the same beats? Well, Bradley Cooper ends up taking this movie, making it unapologetically his own.
Right.
And while all of the versions seem to have a different take, his felt the rawest. And maybe it's just a part of the time, because in every version, his character dies.
Sure.
Right? Spoiler alert. Whatever.
Yeah.
But in every version, he dies.
I'm pretty sure she said it in her Oscar speech anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And sometimes it's by walking into the ocean, and sometimes it's a car accident.
Sure.
And this time they kind of had the balls to do it with the suicide, where it felt more overt and real and raw. Whereas I don't think that we dealt with it in the earlier versions of these films because suicide was still so taboo.
Yeah.
That we were like, yeah, he died.
I mean, 37 and 54, they definitely weren't going to touch it.
No.
76.
It's a car accident. They
yeah.
change it to a car accident. And it's like, yeah, the car accident is kind of his fault.
Basically Easy Rider.
Yeah, it's basically, yeah, right,
You know?
right, exactly.
Yeah, did they kill them? We get it.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how they get around it. But this time it was like, no, this dude hung himself.
We're going all in on this.
You know, and
here is the belt I'm going to do it with.
Right.
You know,
it's just like, man, it's raw, it's visceral, the entire performance, and that comes from the director. That comes from that comes from the vision.
Yep.
Right. And
that's also it, because he had because he's been putting this movie together for over 3 years now.
Right.
Before that, so a little bit of history. You know, I'm not going to get there yet because. Yes, he had a clear, concise vision of what he wanted 3 years ago.
Right.
And that's what he wanted to see through. There was a lot of, again, we've talked many times about, well, the producers wanted this, or the studio wanted Beyonce.
Yeah, right.
They wanted
this. I don't think that this movie would have been as good with Beyonce.
Jesus, she can't act.
Well, there's that.
I'm sorry, she can't fucking act.
Well, there's that. But Beyonce is a happier person.
Sure.
You know, like,
I don't know. You see that elevator video?
That's true. That's true. But no, you look at Beyonce and the celebrity character of Beyonce Knowles is very happy, right? Because her only other acting experience that I can think of, right, or is the Austin Powers movie, right, where she was like light and bubbly. Yeah. And if that person shows up in this movie, then yeah, this movie isn't as good.
Right. I mean, it required actual acting.
Right.
Now, I was half joking when I was doing the reference, but they needed to reach inside of themselves and pull some shit out.
Right. Now, here's the other thing. Great job of the writing of this film to tailor make this movie for Lady Gaga.
And that was that was also part of his vision. Right. Because he wanted her. He knew he wanted her.
Right.
To the point that and I'm going to reference the Blu-ray a lot because there is a fantastic behind the scenes that mesmerized me and really, I mean, I love the movie from Jump Street.
Right.
First time I saw it, I walked out there and said, give them all the awards.
Yeah, you texted me that.
Give them all the awards. Give Dyson an award. Give Dave Chappelle an award. Give them all awards.
Well, I laughed when I laughed very, very hard when The Banquet Beer of Sam Elliott was nominated, and then you watch that movie and it's like, man, you're so good too.
Yes, exactly. Give them all the awards. But it was watching the behind the scenes special on the Blu-ray. Really made me respect Bradley Cooper, the director, a million times more, and not I say the director, but also the actor side of it too. I mean, the transformation he did. Changing his voice. He learned how to play guitar. He learned how to play piano. They live fucking sang those songs. It wasn't a backing track. No, they were chasing crowds around the world for 10 minutes here, 4 minutes there. And I'll go deeper into that. There's some really cool stories.
Do you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Rocky. Right? And not like in terms of the story or anything like that, but in the way that Sylvester Stallone basically grabbed this and was like, no, I'm going to make my movie.
Right.
This is the movie I want to make.
Right.
And I'm not going to let you dictate it, because Sylvester Stallone had the ability to get Rocky made a ton of times.
Without him.
But without him.
We talked about this on our Good Will Hunting episode.
Right.
They could have just sold the script.
Correct.
And got it made instantly with Mel Gibson attached and the
all
whole
the stuff.
The Space Invaders, weird shit and the blowjob scene that was but they stuck to their guns. Like, no, we want to make this ourselves.
This is for us.
Right.
And that's what this movie feels like. And to Bradley Cooper's credit, he's always been historically the handsome, funny guy.
Right.
We're going to do it.
In your favorite movie, The Hangover.
In a movie that is far better than Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, The Hangover.
At Liam NAI.
But Bradley Cooper is that. He was also in Wet Hot American Summer, and he
Yep.
plays the camp douche,
Sure.
you know? And so that's been the guy he is.
He's always been the attractive guy.
attractive, goofy guy.
Right. He wasn't ugly in this, let's be honest.
Yeah, and he wasn't ugly
He
in this
shot
either.
himself pretty well in this.
Yeah, of course he did. But the point is that it's like, no, this is the serious side of Bradley Cooper. And wow, man,
Yeah.
you can act your balls off.
Yeah.
You can act your balls off, dude. You are far better at this than anybody.
He wrote the music.
Yeah, this is the eye-opening thing, and it's really unfortunate that the Oscars have kind of turned into, and I can talk about this on this show, right?
Absolutely.
I don't have to be super positive about it on this show.
No.
Otherwise, you have to listen to our North Shore 104.9
There you go.
radio show where I'm going to be much more chipper about the
There you
Oscars. The Oscars have gotten into a weird rut with themselves where it feels like in like all sports, right? The referees will make a bad call, so there'll be a makeup call somewhere else.
Did somebody see Spike Lee's interview?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, that's exactly what he said.
Oh, really?
Because so Green Book was announced.
Yeah.
He threw his arms up and tried to run out of the theater.
Right.
And they wouldn't let him out because the doors were locked and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And he went back to his seat. In the after where they go in and do the press room.
Yeah.
That was all anybody wanted to ask him about. And he's like, look, man, it's like sitting courtside at the Knicks and you watch a ref make a bad call. I swear to God, that's exactly what he said.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's makeup calls, right? It's
Right.
it's a bunch of makeup calls. That's what I ended up happening in I forget which game. I want to say the AFC Championship game is the game where the refs started making bad calls, so they
Right.
were making makeup calls.
Right.
And so now all of a sudden everything's getting penalized because we got to make good.
Sure.
And the Academy Awards to me have kind of fit into that a little bit.
Well, we were convinced basically for that reason.
Glenn Close
Thank you.
Glenn Close was going to win.
I was so happy Olivia Colman won.
Oh, I was too.
Her speech is everything I want an actor's Oscar-winning speech to be.
You know, yeah.
It was honest. It was real. She was starstruck. She popped. All of a sudden, she's like, "Oh my God, there's Lady Gaga!"
Right.
And I'm up here too, and I have this fucking thing. It's like,
Yeah, right.
Yes,
Right.
It was like last year, Sam Rockwell. Same thing.
Right.
It's like, yes, this is the pinnacle of your life's work.
Right. And so it feels like
Act like it.
It
Don't
feels
just sit there
like-
reading fucking names that nobody
Yeah.
cares about.
right. And the Academy Awards to me recently have felt a lot of makeup calls where it's like, yeah, Glenn Close is going to win, which I also tweeted out after she didn't, that she's officially the Dan Marino of acting.
Yeah.
She's the Dan Marino of acting.
The Susan Lucci of movies is accurate one
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Well, even Susan Lucci won in the end.
Eventually,
She won in the
Yeah.
end. So,
and Spike got his.
and Spike got his, but it feels like it's just we're deciding who the Academy Awards are based on like whose turn it is,
Right.
And that's not good,
Right.
Because Green Book shouldn't have won.
No.
This movie was far more deserving.
Yep.
Bohemian Rhapsody was far more deserving.
Favorite was more deserving.
Favorite was more deserving. Even Black Panther. You
Yeah.
know, you look at Black Panther and Roma, right? Those two movies dominated everything.
As soon as Roma won foreign language, I was like, nope,
Yeah.
they're done.
They're done.
Because
It's
it was
over.
like it was the year Toy Story 4 was nominated for animated and Best Picture.
Yeah.
And it won animated. I'm like, done.
done. Yeah.
Not even a question anymore.
Right.
I didn't think it had a chance, but not even a question anymore.
Yeah, not even a question. You got your award.
Yeah, exactly.
You got the award that matters to you.
And they nominated. We're going down an Oscars route, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
They nominate Infinity War once and it loses.
Yeah,
They give
right.
it one nomination, one token nomination for effects.
How did that not win that, by the way?
You're a goddamn liar. That's what I said. When First Man won, I looked
First
at it.
Man-
and I
That's
said,
right. That was
bullshit,
it.
too.
when First Man won, I go, you're a goddamn liar.
Yes.
You're a goddamn liar.
Infinity War, Black Panther, Solo.
Yeah.
No.
Here, hey, I don't know if you know this, but 90% of the worlds in those three movies don't exist.
Okay, and that was another one that pissed me off because Black Panther won for what?
Costume design and set design.
Set decoration.
Set decoration.
What set?
Yeah, I know.
Did the guy light the green screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Costume
did.
design, I was all in for.
Sure, yeah.
Especially last week, it was one of the Ringer movie podcasts.
Okay.
And they had her on. And I had no idea she was even from the area.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm listening to it, and she's just telling the story of creating all these costumes. And because it's Marvel, they didn't give her any script. They didn't give her any backstory. So she went out on her own and got all of the comics she could find and kind of tried to create stuff and
That's
work with
cool.
the actors because nobody had a script.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then watching it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, my mom's in Massachusetts. She's from Springfield."
Oh, cool.
And it's just like, wow, good for you.
Good for you.
Good for you.
But that is
We
the
are off track, Star
Well,
Wars.
I'm bringing it back.
Bring us back.
I'm bringing it back. And so this is the problem with this movie because Bradley Cooper is qualified to be the best actor.
Yeah.
Right? Lady Gaga was qualified to be the best female actress.
Yes.
Right? This movie was worthy enough to be the best picture.
Correct.
But I feel like it wasn't their turn. It was that same stupid thing that the BBWAA, the Baseball Writers of America,
That's a thing.
yeah, they're who vote for the Hall of Fame. And so the big thing happened.
That's why the steroid guys aren't in.
Yeah, that's why the big thing. Yeah, but the big thing is that up until Mariano Rivera.
Okay, pause for a second, because that's kind of shitty. Because those guys, when they were knocking fucking home runs every other fucking
It
hour,
saved
they,
baseball.
They wrote about all of it. They
Oh,
gave
yeah.
those guys jobs.
Oh yeah, yes, of course they did. They're
What else you gonna do?
hypocrites.
Write about a boring fucking 1-to-1 game?
Baseball was all but dead in the water after the strike in '94, and the '98 home run race saved baseball.
It was
Yes,
wonderful.
it did.
$5 bleacher seats at Fenway.
Yeah, it was great.
Great, you can
But-
still smoke in the bleachers.
But up until Mariano Rivera, nobody had been unanimously selected to the Baseball Hall of Fame on their first go. I
didn't know that.
Right? And it was this snooty, stupid thing of like, well, you can't be in the Hall of Fame the first time because nobody else has been. And so you can't be the first.
These
and
guys
it's
have
like,
never heard of first time for anything?
It was a Babe Ruth thing.
it was a Babe Ruth.
People
thing.
were saying, "Oh, because Babe Ruth wasn't a unanimous Hall of Famer on the first
Nobody
ballot,
can.
nobody
So-
can be."
So it's like, yeah, so Bradley Cooper can't get a nomination because this is his first thing, and he's the Hangover guy, and that's why we can't nominate him as a director, even though this was a phenomenal movie.
While I agree, that's probably the
That's
reason.
it. That's exactly the reason.
Why didn't it win other stuff?
Yeah.
Why? And I know. See, I know it's a naive thing for me to say, but I know nothing about what the campaigning
Right.
for Oscars. I believe in the purity of it, as naive as that sounds.
Yeah.
I look at it, I'm like, okay, I just watched 5, 6, however many movies were nominated. That's the best one.
Right.
I don't give a shit how many late shows
So-
they show up on, or how many fucking appearances they do, or whose palms they grease. I don't give a shit.
The reality,
That's the best movie.
the reality of it is that this isn't an unbiased judgment of content, right? Instead, what it is everybody needs to get theirs, right?
Sure.
Roma gets the best foreign language,
Obviously.
so that they can say the best foreign language film and make the money.
Right.
And then, unfortunately, A Star Is Born gets the best song because we're going to play the song on the radio and say that it's from this movie
Right.
where it won Best Original Song. So they make the money. And then Green Book wins
I
Best
was
Picture.
ready to throw something in my TV
I
if
was.
it didn't win. I'm like, really?
But you're right. But then Green Book wins for Best Picture
Sure.
because that's how Green Book makes the money. Well, this is the best movie of the year, so I have to see it, right? And so no longer is it about what the best piece of art is. That's where cinematography and editing and set design, all of those things, because if you look at it,
Yeah, but didn't most of them go to Bohemian Rhapsody?
they went to Black Panther.
Oh, did it?
A lot. Black Panther, I think, won the most.
Okay.
But the point is that that's how everybody wins. Is that the Roma, because just like you said with the Toy Story, right?
Yep.
Toy Story wins Best Animated, so it doesn't need to win Best Picture, so that somebody else can win Best Picture. And that's
Which I also felt was, and we talked about it on our Golden Globes thing about Vice. I feel that's cheating.
it is.
I feel if you're Disney with Toy Story, you need to pick.
Yeah, right.
You can't be I know you can. You can't be nominated for both.
Right.
You need to either pick, are you the best animated feature, or are you going to try to be nominated for Best Picture?
Right. No, you're right. Yeah.
Because that's a spot, the Best Picture spot is now taken up by that as opposed to something else when you know you're going to win the animated feature.
Right. The thing that I don't really like about the Academy Awards is how we pick what the Best Picture nominees are and then fill out the awards from there.
Right.
Like, there's very rarely is there like The First Man. Like, The First Man wasn't in Infinity War, right? Where it's just like Infinity War was up for special effects. And now again, I've talked about how
I was floored when you told us last week about that.
that it didn't qualify.
Right.
It didn't qualify, and that's why. Well, I'm still... This Academy Awards actually... It validated my opinion, right? Heath Ledger says that there can be good acting in comic book movies.
Sure.
Black Panther wins all of these awards, but loses Best Picture to prove that awards can be awarded to comic book movies.
Sure.
All to set up Avengers Endgame to win it next year.
You say that, but are they going to submit Endgame?
So the difference between Endgame and Infinity War is I don't have a huge twist at the end of Endgame.
Do they?
Well, I haven't
seen it.
No, but in theory, that closes the chapter of this phase.
Okay.
So the twist, like I believe that there is going to be something that brings us into the next phase of Marvel movies.
Sure.
And I believe it's
Deadpool.
Yes. I believe it's
By the way, Deadpool was in the opening montage of the Oscars. Can we
Yeah.
just respect that for a second?
Yeah, of course. Of course we can. He's fantastic.
And it was Deadpool 2.
It was. It was. But you look at it and you have there's going to be a minor twist that gets us into it, but it's not everybody dies.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not the Empire Strikes
most
Back.
of them.
It's not the Empire Strikes Back of
Right.
movie endings.
Sure.
So I don't have to protect it as much.
Okay.
So I can release
I mean, I
it.
hope you're right.
Yeah.
I fucking hope you're right.
Yeah.
So how does that wrap us back to Star is Born?
So I think I'm talking about how Bradley Cooper gets shafted in all this.
I agree.
Because it's his first time for a lot of this. He has the stigma of being the hangover guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? The guy running around the desert with, Chow and Zach Galifianakis.
But you say that, and then I look at it like, but did they watch the movie?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Because it's not.
Yeah.
He's not.
No, he's not.
This-
He's not.
I mean, he's doing everything that says Best Picture.
Oh, yeah. No, he crushed
Everything. Like I look at it, and I was having a discussion yesterday with somebody about the difference between him and Rami Malek, who won Best Actor.
it. Right.
Okay, it took 3 people to put Rami Malek's performance together as Freddie Mercury.
Correct.
It's just Bradley Cooper.
Right.
Like I said, he learned how to play guitar. Mm-hmm. He wrote the songs. He sang the songs live.
Yeah.
And yeah, by the way, he also acted for this entire movie. Oh, while directing it and writing it. And
Yeah.
I mean, what the
Putting the
hell?
whole thing together.
What more does one person? And it's phenomenal. It's not even like we're saying he did all this work and it's a good movie. It's a great film.
Yeah. You are 100%
Like
right.
I can see, and it's one of those things I didn't pick up on until like last night, watching him on the red carpet stuff. He didn't want any part of it,
No.
and I'm kind of getting that feeling where it's like, yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, right.
What more do I have to do?
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, I'll go sing a fucking song for you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Sure.
Good. Yeah, me and Gaga will sit at the piano and get everybody pregnant. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, right.
By the way, I think legally they now have to like have a baby.
Yeah, right.
That
Yeah.
fucking
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
That
Gaga even went in for the kiss.
That was
Yeah.
like, I mean,
The
I'm not.
sexual tension.
I
you can
am
cut it.
not too big of a man to say I was crying my eyes out watching that thing,
It was so good.
and I'm sitting there like, they're just gonna fuck on the piano. That's what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, the song's gonna end, and then the Bad Romance is gonna play. The curtain drops, and they're gonna bone.
And then we're just gonna cut to his mom and fiance or whatever,
Yeah,
his wife,
right.
fiance, the
Yeah.
model sitting next to him. I don't know.
Yeah, whoever.
was sitting between them.
But to her credit, I've seen a lot of reports that she was the first one up to give the standing ovation. Good for her.
Yeah.
Supporting her guy as
Yeah.
he sits there and plays Tinder with the Oscars.
Yeah, right. Right, of course.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen him in the last few weeks. The Colbert one was really eye opening, where he didn't come out and say it, but he said everything but "I wish I could say no to singing that song on stage."
Yeah.
And it's not, and it's basically the way he worded it was, "I've put Jackson to bed. I'm done with that. I'm not that character
Yeah,
anymore.
right.
It took me 3 years to get there,
Right.
and you guys want me to just do it."
Right. Yeah.
He's like, "Do you understand that I went through months and months to actually change my speaking voice,
Right.
to change my demeanor, to mentally be in that place?" He's like, "I'm not that guy." Granted, fucking crushed it.
Yeah. Right.
He showed it. They got up out of their seats. They went to the piano, crushed it,
Yeah. Of course.
as you do.
As you do.
But yeah, it gets that that feeling like, what more does this movie have to do?
Yeah.
And we said it. I said it last year about Get Out. It's like last year was the year that Get Out lost the Oscars.
Yeah.
This is A Star Is Born lost the Oscars.
Yes.
That's what we will remember it by. Because let's be honest, this movie's probably going to have a bit more rewatchability than Green Book.
Yeah, Green Book was good.
It's good.
It was good. I liked it. I really like Mahershala Ali.
He's wonderful.
He is a delight.
Just don't read his name. If you just say his name, Mahershala Ali,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's the second you look down and go, those
That's
letters
not-
don't belong together.
That's not how that's pronounced.
No,
But-
not at all.
but that's
he's
it.
fantastic, and he's in everything.
Yeah, he's really good.
I always forget that he was the baddie in the first season of Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's where I fell in love with him.
holy shit, that guy was great.
Because I saw that, and then it was like, oh, the guy from... I really like that guy in Luke Cage. I'm going to watch Moonlight.
Right.
Oh, I like Moonlight.
Oh, he was good in that. Oh, now he's in this one.
Oh, he's in this one. I'll watch this one.
Is he on a TV show too now? Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he's on the one that had... It's on HBO.
Oh, True Detectives, yeah.
True Detective.
Yeah,
He's
I heard that was very good too.
And I heard he's fantastic in carrying True Detective back to form.
Gonna have to binge that out too.
Yeah, of course. So...
So let's get into the movie a little bit.
Sure, let's get into the movie a little bit. I think, again, the plot of the movie, again, doesn't wow me at all. I knew what I was kind of expecting.
Sure.
It's beat for beat, basically the same movie.
Okay, but most people haven't probably seen it.
Right.
Most people coming into this
Right.
version,
Yeah.
I would dare I say most people don't know it's even a remake
Or a remake of a remake.
or a remake of a remake. Like I
Yeah,
said,
right.
it's A Star Is Born 4,
It is A Star Is Born 4.
and I think there's a Bollywood one we're missing. So
Probably.
maybe 5.
Probably. I mean, this is also kind of that classic tale at this point. Like it feels like it's a trope where we'll get to it, but this famous country music singer finds a nobody
Right.
and then brings them to stardom, but then through whatever circumstances it breaks them apart. I mean, even La La Land was kind of like that.
Kind of.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But it's the same basic story structure. I do like the interpersonal dynamics. I like that Jackson is this like older, grizzled. He seems to be so chewed on and spit out by the music industry when we kind of meet him.
Yep.
That it's like, I'm done. I'm like really done with this. So Allie, who he discovers at a drag bar,
Fantastic.
just basically kind of reignites his passion.
Right.
She becomes his muse.
Oh, absolutely.
And
100%.
And it's just it's great to watch, and maybe this is probably the best part of his performance is that Jackson Maine getting the spark and love back in music with his love of Allie.
Right.
Probably is the best part of it.
Well, and even Sam Elliott says it in that first concert when she shows up and she takes the plane and the bus and the
Yeah.
and then she shows up and sings with him for the first time. He's like, that song or not, he's never played like that before. That's
Right.
the best I've ever seen him play.
Right.
And up to that point, he was telling him how shitty he was doing.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yep. And then the interpersonal
Goddamn
dynamics.
stubborn bastard.
Yeah, with his half brother, Bobby
Yeah.
Sam Elliott.
Bobby Sam Elliott,
You
yeah.
know, and so the
Stole
interpersonal.
my fucking voice.
Yeah,
Oh, I loved it.
but he's so good. He's so good about it.
Yeah.
And then the whole, Jackson crippling alcoholism.
Well, there is that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to run down a couple of things, like I mentioned earlier, they were chasing crowds.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most fascinating things that I watched in the behind the scenes. So the movie opens up, and there's many they cheated a lot of these, but it
Yeah.
opens on Coachella.
Yeah.
He's Bradley fucking again. I'm just gonna keep saying Bradley Cooper was live singing and playing guitar at Coachella.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I mean, that's pretty badass.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, so that was one of them. The big long set piece, the amphitheater one, which has the big the JM with the Arizona flag type of thing.
Okay.
That was a Willie Nelson show. The reason they had so much time on that one and by so much time, I think they had like 20 minutes, was because Willie Nelson's son helped Bradley Cooper write a lot of the songs.
Oh, okay, cool.
The really cool, really super fucking cool one, I want to say it was in Germany somewhere,
Oh, cool.
but it was a Chris Christopherson show.
Okay.
And they had 4 minutes before Chris Christopherson goes on stage. So it's Bradley Cooper, it's his cinematographer, Matthew Libatek, and they had a second camera, but no one to operate it. So who's there watching the Chris Christopherson show? Lars Ulrich from Metallica. Bradley Cooper goes, Put that on your shoulder. We'll turn it on for you. Just follow the action, man. And there's behind-the-scenes footage of Lars Ulrich following Bradley Cooper around the stage, running a camera. And I'm like, again, how did this movie not win?
I know.
And he's singing live.
Yeah. Yeah. In front of a crowd of stadium people.
Seriously,
Yeah.
30, 40,000 people. And they're all buying into his shit.
Oh, of course.
You know? And he's just sitting. He's like, "Yeah, I'm Bradley Cooper. We're kind of doing a movie here. You want to cheer for me? Thank you. Cool."
Yeah, right.
You
You
know?
want to cool and play along?
And they were running around the country, the world, putting on these little 10-minute, 20-minute concerts.
Yeah.
And it's just Cooper and Gaga doing the whole thing, and it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. It's yes.
So we meet Jackson Maine,
Yeah.
and he's getting out of his show, runs out of booze in the limo.
Yep.
Definitely can't make that 45-minute drive without something, man.
Because he has crippling alcoholism.
He is, along with a pill addiction.
Yeah.
And so he's looking for a bar.
Yep.
Sees the conspicuous red and blue lights
Yep.
that follow us throughout the entire movie, right up to the end.
Of course.
And so he's walking in, and this guy's at the door, and basically kind of, "This isn't your type of place, man." He's like, "It's got fucking alcohol, right? It's my type of place." And I'm just like, shit, I kind of relate to that one. But yeah, and he goes in, it's a drag bar.
Yeah.
And it's great, just a little back and forth in that. I absolutely loved where Jackson's just like, "Hey, man, is this a drag bar?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, I had to make sure I wasn't hallucinating." What are you on?
All kinds of pills. That's the answer.
So Allie sings, I believe it's a French song?
Yeah.
Is it French or Italian?
Yeah.
And they instantly fall in love.
Oh, yeah.
Like, right there.
Yeah, we just hit the throttle.
It's just like, all right, we're making babies.
Yeah, right. Well, we just hit the throttle on it. It's just fast, loose. Like,
And that
let's
was,
do this.
it was their chemistry that I feel really sucked me into it.
Right.
It wasn't, okay, like you said, the story, beat.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was just these two. Like I said, and I said it on the North Shore Morning Show many times when we were talking Oscars this past
Right.
week. I'm like, it would be the greatest end to this A Star Is Born story if right after they finished Shallow, he dropped to a knee.
Yeah,
and I'm
right.
just like, I knew it.
Yeah, right.
They really do love each other because it looks that way.
It does.
You completely, without any reservation, buy in to
Yeah.
the two people you're watching are absolutely falling in love.
Right. That's the best part. What is it? It's acting is telling fallacies and making it appear true.
Right.
Like that's the old adage. And they crushed it.
Absolutely.
They crushed it on this point.
Absolutely. And then they go to a cop bar. She punches a cop, as you do.
Yeah, as you do, 'cause she's a badass.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't get jumped or shot or arrested in that scene.
Right.
All right. I can
Yeah.
poke holes.
Yeah.
I love the movie, but I can poke holes. She would have got her ass handed to her if she punched a cop in a cop bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
true.
He didn't even get the picture.
No.
Fucking Opal behind the counter got the picture.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
She's like, but it was kind of that weird, like, they never really paid that off with Allie.
No.
Because those were the only two instances. Like, you kind of expect, okay, she just punched a dude that wanted a picture. He didn't even take his phone out.
No.
Like the cashier literally took her phone out and snapped a picture, and all she did was kind of give her a dirty look.
Yeah, right.
So you would expect, like, somewhere towards the end when she becomes Billboard Alley,
Right.
that it's like someone would be doing that to her, and she would have to just accept it because that's the price of fame.
Right. Right.
But they never paid that little
No,
part of her
no.
personality off.
No.
So we're in the parking lot with the peas on the hand, and that poor bastard driving Jackson around eating his Cheetos in the parking lot after talking about having like 3 kids and a family. It's like,
We'd watched Fight Club too soon that I was just like, I really wish Tyler Durden was fighting in the background with himself.
you know what? That's true. That would have been just great. Like, look at those 2 fucking assholes over there.
Look at that! No, look at that one asshole over there.
That's right.
Look at that one asshole over there, just punching himself.
And you said I'm drunk. And
Or what's even funnier, if she was to go, look at that asshole over there punching himself, and he goes, I see 2 of them.
I see 2 of them.
I wish movie universes were.
Oh,
more
that's a
throughout.
great movie universe to cross over. A Star Is Born in Fight Club.
Yeah, why not?
I want to see that Jackson Maine origin story.
Yeah, why not?
The true reason behind his steroid use is
Yeah.
Fight Club.
Yeah, he was in Fight Club
He's
for a
jacking
while.
up for Fight Club.
Yeah.
And they write Shallow. in the parking lot.
Yep.
Like, as you do.
Yeah, as you do. Let's write a hit. Why not?
She literally just sat there and just starts saying words. He's like, you just come up with that right here, right now. And she's like, yep.
Yep. Cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to take you home, get some sleep. Then I'm going to send my guy back. He's going to stay outside your house like a creepy stalker until you come to my concert. In that meantime, I'm going to write the music for your song.
Yeah, and we're going to do this.
And we're going to do this shit. We're going to get famous again.
Again.
So yeah, he drops her off.
Yeah.
Again, just the adorable back and forth between the two of them.
Right. Of course. You see it as they grow. She's obviously getting into a new world as she, kind of rises to stardom on her own.
Dad could have been a crooner.
He could have been.
He could have been. Paul Anka said I could have been a crooner. God, I love Dice.
You wouldn't even know if it was Dice.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the craziest part. Is like I looked at him like, son of a bitch.
Yeah,
son of a bitch.
Good for him.
Good for him. Good for you.
Good for him. Good for him. Good for everybody. Of course, in that behind the scenes Blu-ray, he's all Dice.
Of course he is.
He's back to the sideburns and the glasses and
yeah.
He's just. I'll refrain for a moment. So I can keep moving with the story.
yeah, because we're already like 45 minutes in.
Are we?
I don't know.
No. We are 38 minutes in.
Cool. I thought we were a lot longer.
All right, let's do this fucking thing.
There's the fight. You did it with Sam Elliott.
Yep.
There's the fight because the crippling alcoholism just is destroying all of his interpersonal relationships.
Well, yeah, and Sam Elliott sold their dad's ranch where their dad was buried and dad blew away or washed away in a flood or some such shit. But dad didn't sound like a hell of a nice guy anyway.
Yeah,
it just sounded like, they got that alcoholic gene and like Sam Elliott said, you two were just fucking drinking buddies. He didn't take care of you.
Yeah, right.
Why are you shedding a tear for that? Blah, blah, blah. The same old story.
Yeah, right.
Abusive alcoholic father.
Yeah, and Sam Elliott is more of the father that, he's his Mary Poppins.
Yeah, and they even make reference to it after his rehab stint where they're driving. He's like, why didn't we ever really work? And, he's like, well, because we were too much of a father-son duo and nobody wants to buy that shit.
Yeah, right.
They didn't work as brothers.
Right.
So they're fighting left, right, and center, but it is what it is. And Allie is just joining him on stage.
Yeah, just hanging out. Just
they're writing more songs.
It reminded me of Walk
Hard.
I wanted to say Walk Hard.
You don't want none of this shit, Dewey. It's cocaine.
I know. I really wanted to say Walk
Hard.
And then I wanted to say Walk Tall, but that's the movie.
Walk Hard.
Walking Tall.
That's the Walking Tall is the Rock.
Rock.
Buford Pusser.
And that's not it. The Johnny Cash one. Walk the Line.
Walk the Line.
Walk the Line.
Walk Hard.
Where
Walk Hard.
that's how it kind of felt with June. Right, it kind of felt very Johnny Cash and June-ish.
Yeah.
And I do think that is part of the inspiration.
Probably, yeah.
Because it feels a lot like that, and it kind of works the same. Where it's just like, you're now a part of my show.
And now he's gotten this resurgence.
Right.
I mean, like the fantastic YouTube scene. Where Dice and the rest of the drivers are sitting around, they're watching the video on the phone, and they keep going, what's that number there? It's like that's like the algorithm. It's like no, it's like beats. It's the beat. How many beats? And Dice comes and he goes, "That's so many people. 200 of those people are me. I watched it upstairs 200 times." Yeah. It's just watching these old men try to figure out YouTube.
Yeah, right.
It's charming as fuck, but it's showing that now it's Jackson Maine is having this resurgence because of her,
right? With
this, for lack of a better term, youth movement,
right?
But also at the same time, there's the snakes trying to get the claws into her.
Yeah, her, the record producer.
Rez.
Yeah. What a name.
Rez.
What a name.
Who you see, upon rewatching, you see lurking in the back of a lot of the Jackson concerts before even approaching her.
Yeah, right. He's just stalking.
That first one where she caught the plane with her friend, went up on stage unannounced and did Shallow. As they're getting on the bus right after that, he's kind of just sitting right behind. The door opens and he's just there.
Oh, really?
He was just in the group of people.
I'm gonna have to watch it again now.
So he was always kind of lurking about, and then reveals himself. Which again, if he's such a known scumbag, why does he keep being allowed back at these shows? Why doesn't Jackson have like that? Okay, can we pull his pass?
Yeah, right.
He's a dick, and
right.
he's gonna steal my fucking girl. and then eventually get me to kill myself.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, right.
I mean, he is the villain in this fucking movie.
He kind of is.
He is completely the villain.
Yeah.
He takes her and everything that she represented, turns it into, cookie cutter
which
pop
is,
star.
Yeah, which is kind of what the theme of this movie is.
Although it does get us a Baldwin cameo.
It does. Which is...
Because she gets Saturday Night Live.
She does. But that's kind of the focusing away from country into pop, just kind of really seals it in terms of like the same thing that ultimately Jackson, and there is a big thing that I think that, we find out later in the movie that's such a big deal with his actual like illness.
Yeah.
That I think really kind of seals his character arc. But you look at her and it's just like, she's this raw, charismatic entity that people are just gravitating towards.
Right.
And you as this evil record producer are going to try and cookie cutter and cut out all of the things that make her magnetic.
Change her hair.
Yeah.
Surround her by dancers.
Right. And it's magnetic. And it kind of feels, you look at it as a real world kind of example, and it kind of feels like what's happened with Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Bill can kind of speak to this a little bit more than I think you might, because you don't seem to be the Taylor Swift type.
I heard she travels in luggage.
Sure.
What?
That's all I know about her. That she has people put her in like overnight bags and carry her out of hotels.
To hide from people?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
because that's a thing.
Yeah, sure.
Put her in like a body bag or something.
But she started out as a country music singer.
Okay.
And she was very, very popular as a country music singer.
Right.
Released 3 albums, I believe, Bill, as a country music artist.
I believe so, yeah. I think she has 6 overall.
Yeah.
But 3 more like poppy.
3 are pop.
Okay.
Right? And it kind of feels like that. I saw a lot of Taylor Swift in Alley, is the way that I saw her, because it was like, you look at her first couple of albums and they're really good, and she's singing and doing a lot of piano and guitar on her own, and then it kind of goes to the more pop stuff, and it's more dance beats, and it's more well-produced music than it is actual like a band or something.
Well-produced or overproduced?
Overproduced.
There you go.
Yeah, overproduced.
Yeah, I kind of got that one. I agree. I guess I don't know too much about her, but I can see your point there. It's also, I think we talked about it before. It's also pretty much the Lady Gaga story.
It is also.
It's like it was somebody who was a great songwriter who was told that they just didn't have the right look.
Yeah, you didn't look good. You weren't cut out to be a pop star.
You had your fucking nose. I wish their nose was a whole billboard.
Yeah, right.
What the hell's nose, man? Come on.
Yeah, right. Christ
almighty.
Christ, yeah.
That's what you're gonna pick out as a nose?
Yeah.
So whereabouts are we in this story? Because I don't want to skip too far ahead.
I think we just got Rez. I think we're gonna get to the proposal.
We got at Dave Chappelle's house.
Yeah.
Which I love. George Noodles Stone is his character.
Yeah.
They really took a lot of effort on that one.
Yeah.
They really swung for the fences on George Noodles Stone. But yeah, so Jackson wakes up, or is woken up, by Dave Chappelle in the bushes.
Yep.
And again, I love his little drunken mumblings.
Yeah.
Where he sits up, he's like, oh, in my head I made it in the house. It's like, yeah, probably.
Of course you did, pal. Of course you did.
So they bring him in, they clean him up a little bit, put him in the kids' room to sleep it off.
Yeah, right.
Allie wakes him up. There's a lot of waking people up in this movie.
Yeah.
Putting him to bed, waking him up. Putting him to bed. He does it to her. She does it to him a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But yeah, she wakes him up pissed off because he was supposed to go to her show.
Right, and he passed out and didn't make it.
Passed out in the bushes.
Yeah.
Even though he thought he made it in the house.
Yeah.
And she shows up. She's pissed, but also, I mean, he's alive, so
it's okay.
There's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he basically just like pulls out a ring.
He goes into the kitchen and starts cutting guitar strings.
Right.
And fashioning a ring out of it.
A ring out of it, and he proposes there.
And Dave Chappelle has a cousin, Eddie Griffin, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Who is a minister and can do a wedding right now.
Yeah, so let's go to the church and let's make it happen.
I was a little surprised, being the relationship they had built so far, that at the very least she didn't have him fly dice in.
Yeah, right.
That was the only thing I'm like, wouldn't she say, hey, I mean, clearly this
Yeah.
guy can get a private plane like that.
Yeah,
he did
you
it
gotta
for
get,
her.
Yeah, you gotta get my dad here.
You brought me to a fucking concert on a whim. You can bring
Right.
my dad to a wedding.
Right.
You know, I don't even know how far they were. It might have been a 10-minute drive.
Yeah, right. That's the one thing about this movie too.
Oh, geographically, it's all fucked up.
It's geographically fucked up, and like time wise is all fucked up.
Yeah, he gets from Coachella to downtown L.A. In like 10 minutes, and then it's like a 45-minute drive to wherever his
Right.
thing is, or if they were driving, I don't know.
Yeah, but the other thing too is that, like, I don't know how much time is supposed to pass
Right.
in between certain things. Like, I don't know how much time is supposed to happen between the wedding
Yep.
and Saturday Night Live.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like 2 weeks, a year, 6
Right.
months. What are we talking?
Well, they get her to a point in between the wedding and Saturday Night Live. They get her to a point where she succumbs to changing her hair.
Yep.
She's already big enough to have a billboard bigger
Right.
than L.A.
Right.
She's doing Saturday Night Live, so she's clearly already got an album out.
Right. Exactly.
I mean,
so,
what was the billboard for? Just her? I don't buy that shit.
Yeah, it's got to be an album.
So it's got to be an album. So they've already finished an album, released an album,
right.
promoted an album. They're doing Saturday Night Live. She's big enough to do that.
Yeah.
I'd say probably a year.
Yeah, probably.
Probably a year.
It's weird because we don't get
And
like
and there's also the tension between the two of them, where you can see he's grown. I'd say part jealous, part tiresome of the bullshit as well.
yeah, right. You're not the person that I loved a year ago,
Right.
which is unfortunate.
It is. It very is.
Yeah.
And so he goes to SNL. Wasn't really impressed with the performance.
yeah, right.
Not his style.
Yeah, it's not his. Yeah.
We run into Bobby, who's now on tour with Willie Nelson. Of course he is.
Of course he is.
And again, another thing, I know I'm poking holes, but that's what we do here. Bobby just kind of walked into Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know how.
It's not even Jackson Maine just walked in. It's his brother who's the roadie.
Yeah, right. It's also
I buy that you know probably
Also-
a few people, but
the real question is how did you survive getting stabbed in Roadhouse?
well, there is that.
That's the biggest question that I had the entire time.
Sam Elliott's a bad man.
Yeah, I know. How did you survive that stabbing?
He's a bad man.
Coors Banquet beer.
Coors
Coors
Banquet.
Banquet beer.
Did
Yes.
Dalton pour Coors Light into
Yes.
Sam Elliott and bring him back to life?
Yes.
Did a little Mr. Miyagi thing too with,
With
the
the-
rubbing of the hands and the whatever.
And the power of life?
There is the the power of Swayze.
The power of love.
There you go.
Dalton.
Huey Lewis was playing in the background while Dalton poured banquet beer into my wound.
Dalton.
Then I went on tour with Willie.
Dalton,
What are we doing?
I want to love you so much, Dalton. Dalton, you're the best.
Well, you
I
better
love you so
grab that
much.
goddamn Coors and grab it down by your soul. You're fucked.
Yeah. Dalton, I love you so much.
Fuck Dalton.
I want you to be my bouncer.
I want you to be my bouncer.
I want you to be my bouncer, Dalton.
Ah, shit.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to basically,
Shit. And she gets nominated for a Grammy.
yep, and wins.
Well, yeah. But they had the whole fight thing that kind of set him off because he was set up originally to do a Roy Orbison tribute
Right.
at the Grammys.
Right.
She gets nominated for 3.
Yes.
Cool. Your songs suck.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna just go and drink some gin and do Roy Orbison songs. I guess I'm the asshole.
Yeah, right.
So then he finds out, no, he's not performing. Well, he's playing guitar.
Right, he's not
They got some
singing.
dude from New Zealand and some who's the woman? It was I want to say Brandy something. She's like a brand new country artist or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
She was the woman performing as well.
Right.
And so they get the young hip kids to do the
Right.
singing
Yeah, and he's singing. He's playing piano, a guitar in the
and
back.
throw a cowboy hat in the background.
Right.
So naturally,
Yep.
he's going to put a whole bunch of pills on the table, and in one of my new favorite drug doing scenes in a movie, smack him with the heel of his boot, lean over, snort a couple of things, and then brush the rest into his gin and slam that back. And I'm just like, that is the most careless and probably realistic way anybody's ever done drugs.
In a movie.
He didn't give a fuck to try to cut anything. He just literally takes his boot, bang!
Yeah.
All right, slosh.
Yeah.
And oh boy,
Yeah.
when his guitar solo came on, Oh boy, that big, lazy, fat tongue sticks out. He looked like
He looked like he was on drugs.
all I pictured with the hat and the tongue and the beard, Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
That's exactly like Val Kilmer doing Jim Morrison in the
right.
Doors movie.
Yeah.
Like towards that late 70s, or I guess he died in the early 70s, but I don't know when he died. It doesn't matter. But you know, the beard phase of Jim Morrison, where he's just like,
yeah, right.
every
Slob
time.
Jim Morrison.
Yeah, just completely doped and drunked out. And yeah, so but he did it.
Right.
God bless him.
Right.
I guess, you know, when you're good at something, you can do it in your sleep.
Yeah, right.
Literally.
Yeah.
Finishes up, and again, and I can't help myself. I loved his little drunk murmurs where the guy's taking his guitar off, and he literally just goes, "Are we done?"
Yeah.
Like, are we done playing?
Yeah, right.
Is the song still happening?
Yeah,
I don't know.
what
This
are we
ringing
doing?
in my ear won't stop.
I know. That's so sad.
So they bring him down, and why they brought him to fucking her seat?
Yeah, right.
Why didn't you? I mean, literally, it took two people dragging him
Yeah,
to this.
why you-
not just like, hey, green room that shit?
Yeah, right. Get out of here. Get him in a cab. Get him out of here.
Where's Bobby during all this?
Yeah, he smells like Robert Downey Jr. circa 1992.
It's music's biggest night. I bet Bobby's somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
You know?
Get your half brother up here.
Because they were even calling for him after what happens next.
Right. And
So they bring him to his seat. Like those ushers should be fucking fired.
Yeah.
They bring him to the seat. Immediately she wins Best New Artist.
Of course.
Like bing.
yeah. Well, we got to get the pacing of this movie.
Because I mean, come on. The Grammys are that punctual. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I watched them for 4.5 hours. They gave away 6 awards. I don't think they were giving away too many.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she wins Best New Artist. And he has to get up to let her out and just kind of goes with her.
Yeah, right.
Until he gets to the stairs and kind of hobbles himself down.
Yep.
And again, some more drunk murmuring. You didn't win. Did you win? What'd you win? Should I come up there? I'm going to come up. I'll be right up. Gets up there. He's pointing at himself in the sea. Like, look at that shit.
Yeah, right. He's very drunk.
Oh, yeah. And she's doing her damnedest to, we're having a lot of fun tonight. Having a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
right.
And he's just sitting there spaced out of his gourd.
Yeah.
And yeah. Then he pisses himself.
Yep.
And despite him holding a 10-gallon hat, not putting that in front, she has to try to cover him.
Yeah, right.
He falls flat on his ass on the stage.
Yeah.
And of all the times, the Grammys seem to be giving them all the time in the world to get this done.
Right. We don't immediately go to dark.
There's no wrap-up music for him pissing himself. They're just like, you know what? Let's stay with this.
Yeah. And this is another thing, too, because in the prior version, the Streisand version, I don't remember that part happening. Like, I remember him making, like, a drunk scene.
Well, they've all had that. Even the Garland one had the drunk scene. But
it's never been that bad.
Well, it is 2018. We can do a few more things. We can be a bit more real.
Yeah, right. And
know?
so, yeah, he ends up having to go to rehab.
Oh, yeah.
So he ends up going to rehab to try and sober up. He's there for a couple of months. And he, basically that's where we find out about the suicidal tendencies.
Yes. If we hear the story about the belt and the father and,
Right.
and a lot of the whole thing, we learn a little bit more about is it tinnitus?
Tinnitus.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like basically just a ringing in the ear.
Yeah. And he's losing his hearing completely and not even trying to help it.
No, and that's part of the problem is he's kind of succumbed to this. And it's kind of where we found him in the beginning is he's kind of given up, right? Because he's going to get this thing taken away. Then he's not going to be able to hear. And so he's all but given up and he's just going to find himself in alcohol.
Sure.
In drugs. And so, yeah, everything's getting worse. He reconciles with Allie, which is great.
Well, yeah, and I think it's one of those things where I don't think it was. They never really needed so much of a reconciliation as it was just like because even when it happened,
Right.
you could tell she immediately forgave him.
Right.
It's like Dice had a harder time forgiving him.
Right.
Like he's like slamming him against the wall, and of course his neck's all limp, and he's out of it. There was
Right.
nothing that he was going to say.
Yeah.
But she was the one that jumped in the shower and was like, "No, he's fine. He's fine. Just go get Bobby. Go get Bobby."
Yeah, right.
It was so. It is. It's living in that alcoholic relationship type
Right.
of thing. You accept almost to a fault.
Right.
You accept too much to a fault.
Right.
But yeah, so she does visit him and tells him a story about the dog who's laying there waiting for Daddy to come home.
Yep.
asks him straight out, "Are you planning on coming home? Because you've only known us with alcohol."
Yeah, right.
Of course, he's like, "Where else would I go?
Yeah, right.
Where the fuck else am I gonna go?"
Yeah, right.
So we realized that okay, that this wasn't a love built on alcohol. They actually do love each other.
Right.
We're gonna try to make this shit work.
Yep. And so she basically cancels the last part of her tour
because
she's going to stay with him
and well, her first inclination was
bring him on tour.
Bring him on tour.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen.
No.
Rez ain't gonna allow that shit.
Yeah, no.
We're not bringing him on tour. He's a disaster.
Right.
And so she's like, "Well, fucking cancel it then."
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. He's either coming.
This is where I am.
Right. And so basically this is where it gets sad.
Yeah.
This is where it gets all sad.
This is where Rez is just a straight up cunt.
Yeah, he's a dickbag.
He straight up tells him, "Look, you're going to ruin her life.
Yeah.
Right. This is not going to be the last time that you do this to her."
Right.
And in so many words, he's like, "Kill yourself?"
Yeah, right. Right. Basically,
he didn't need to push him too hard. We already found out he's got these tendencies.
Right.
And he's looking at this person who he does deeply love and care for.
Right.
And he is himself.
Right.
I'm sure this wasn't the first trip to rehab.
Right.
And I'm sure this wasn't the first time he pissed himself in an award show.
No.
Maybe he wasn't
Right.
on stage at the time.
Right. And in a weird moment of clarity, this is the worst thing to tell this person because he is right. He does love this person so much that as soon as he's given the opportunity, he hangs himself in the garage.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because
she goes off to a show which he's supposed to join her at.
Right.
And he's just like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
This is where we say goodbye.
Yeah, he's right. And so, obviously she's devastated because she loves him. We get a great Sam Elliott moment of fatherly wisdom.
Yeah, it's not your fault, not my fault, it's his fault.
Yeah, and
this is who he always was and is.
Right. And then what is basically ends with the iconic part at the end where she comes out and she introduces herself as his wife, basically.
Right. And just before we wrap up, another little bit of trivia on that. So there was more of that in the Blu-ray behind the scenes stuff, and she had just found out that afternoon that her friend died of cancer, Lady Gaga.
Oh wow!
And she left set for 2 hours, came back, and literally announced that to the crowd. And she's like, "So I need all of you to help." And she fucking sang one taked it.
Oh wow!
She just belted that song out in one take, and it was and watching the raw footage and stuff, and you're just like, I'm gonna cry again. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, holy shit, this movie was just. It could have been called Emotional the movie.
Emotional.
You know what I mean?
It would have been the Emotional movie. Not
Emotional the movie.
With the Emoji movie.
Not the Emoji movie.
That's a very different movie.
Real emotions.
Yeah.
Real emotions. But yeah, so that was 2018's Best Picture. A Star Is Born.
Yes.
The true Best Picture.
It was, yeah.
Ain't no paper champion. The true Best Picture.
Yeah, definitely go and check this out. It's already out on Blu-ray.
It's everywhere.
So you can go and find it. It's probably going to be coming to streaming services later this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can probably rent it digitally, probably $4 or $5
Probably.
at best, stuff like that. But yeah, it's widely available. I love that in the last week since it's been available, everyone that has now been seeing it has been really positive about it.
Right.
Because I've been posting about it for weeks. This is the movie, this is the movie, this is the movie. And now once people are catching up, they're kind of going back into those comments and be like, yeah, you were fucking right. Wow, this was amazing.
Right.
All that stuff. So I love that a movie like this is actually resonating because it truly is an amazing film.
Well, I mean, it also speaks to the timeless nature of the story.
Right.
Right? Where when you have the right people and you have the right actors in this story, it can be generational.
Right.
Right? I feel like every so often we get a retelling of a movie.
Yeah.
And this feels like the same thing where it's it was now time for another It's A Star Is Born.
Yep.
And they went in and they crushed it and it resonates with people. I think it adapts well to whatever the time is, and you can kind of
the story, like you said, is timeless.
The story's timeless, but
you need the right people to do it.
Right.
I was just looking down, and the remake talks began in 2011.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood was attached to direct. Beyonce was attached to play Allie or whatever she was going to be called. Over the years, the lead was going to go to Christian Bale, Leonardo DiCaprio,
Yeah.
Will Smith, Tom Cruise,
Oh, jeez.
2016, Bradley Cooper picked it up
Yeah.
and basically forced them through cell phone videos that him and Gaga were shooting at her home.
Yeah.
That's how they got it.
First of all, how were Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga friends?
That I would love to know. I think it was because of this movie. I think he just wanted her for this movie. Because,
Yeah, but how do you get that contact information?
He's Bradley Cooper.
All right,
well,
you're
I mean,
right.
you buy a map of the stars and you just stalk her ass.
Okay, you're right.
Knock on the door and be like, "Hey, hangover,
Yeah, I'm Bradley Cooper.
what up?
What up?
Want to make a little cell phone video?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. I guess you're right.
Let's go to the piano."
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Let's
And now
do
it's
this.
come full circle, and they almost banged on the piano last night.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they almost did, our boy.
So that was A Star Is Born. I'm so happy we did that movie. Coming up next week on the New Age Insiders Entertainment version of that movie show, we are starting Vegas month.
I am so excited.
I am going to Vegas at the end of the month, so we got 3 weeks of Vegas movies, and we're kicking it off with Martin Scorsese's Casino.
This is my favorite Martin Scorsese movie.
Wow, bold statement. Cannot wait for next week. There we go.
I love this movie.
Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Sharon Stone, fantastic movie.
Yeah.
And kind of timely because the Irishman teaser just got released.
Oh my God, I had no idea what that movie was, and I still don't, but I'm in.
Have you? So you knew nothing about?
I know
this?
nothing about it.
Oh my God! Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Harvey Keitel, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, who hasn't worked in like 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's going to be bonkers good.
Right, of course.
It is going to be great, and it's going to be on Netflix.
Oh well.
I mean, it's going to do a run in theaters, but it's going to be a Netflix movie.
Oh great,
That's crazy.
great. I'm in.
It's going to be so good. But next week we're talking Casino, so stick around for that. Follow us on all forms of social media, of course, at Mike Wendt, at Liam NAI, at Bill Neville NAI. Thank you for producing. Hashtag That Movie Show. And be sure to subscribe to New Age Insiders Pop on literally every podcasting app available, where you can find That Movie Show every single week. Did I miss anything?
No.
All right. We'll see you next week, Casino.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.